So did you guys shoot this weekend? I shot this weekend.
Nope. We're off.
No, we've been off for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. I love
How
it.
many more you got for the year? How many more you got for the year?
Just one.
Yeah.
Just one? Yeah, same here.
We have,
and Karis is actually my second shooter. Oh, correction. She's my co-shooter for this last and final one. She invited herself. Because, you know, what? You're going to be the lead? Whatever.
I'm your lead shooter. That doesn't lead.
So, yeah, this is a venue that's kind of near our house. We had never been there before. It's the...
You've been there. I haven't.
I've never been. Well, I've never been to the ballroom part of it.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. There's a ballroom.
What venue is it?
The mansion at Nadarar or 90 acres. It's
such a nice venue.
It is a nice venue, right?
That's why I'm second shooting for him.
Yeah.
Karis is
she's going to get content to make reels so that she can steal your potential clients.
Yeah.
Again, she's going to end up on the preferred vendor list.
Yeah.
I was like, that's messed up,
yo. Like, I'm getting to, I get to shoot at these bucket list venues where I want to shoot. Like I had on my list for many, many years. And then, you know, Karis shows up and then she just blows it out of the water, ends up on their list. And I get ignored, you know. It's kind of whack.
Karis will have a reel by the next day.
But you want to hear something funny? There's a planner for this wedding, right? And the planner was like, we got some inspo boards. I hope you don't mind. But, you know, this is what they kind of had in mind for their details. And it's basically, I don't know if you've seen this trend where the detail shots are kind of, it's kind of a slow motion, slow shutter drag, kind of blurry.
Swirly details, the direct
kind of swirly
flash.
details and stuff.
I was like, that's my pro. That's my jam.
That's a Karis.
I got their back.
That's easy.
I was like, damn it. That's not how I do details, but whatever. If that's what you want.
I would do it if they asked. Like, why not? Like, I would still get my normal stuff and then just add those to it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But my style did evolve a little bit in the last couple of weddings out of necessity because I forgot some of my gear at home. And I had to shoot direct flash. So now we got the direct flash, that editorial look that you see in New York City and stuff, that editorial direct flash look and stuff.
It's everywhere.
So I had to shoot this. I had to shoot that look for the last wedding that I photographed. It's not my normal style, but
I thought about it. Why that is trending? I think it's because it's more portable. You travel light because city weddings you gotta travel light. And it just makes sense. Like having OCF, like setting up big light stands, it's not going to work in the city weddings.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass to carry.
I mean, it's simple too. It's simple, and people have been doing it for over 50 years.
Yep. So the trend coming back just makes sense, you know. Yep.
Yeah. So talking about people who've been doing this for about 50 years, this is a good segue to our next guest.
What kind of friend are you?
I was like, how are we going to segue this conversation to our special guest? But anyway, you guys ready to start this podcast?
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Focus Day podcast. My name is Ben.
I am Karis.
This is Jen.
And this is Ro.
But anyway, let me give you guys a little bit of backstory. I first met this guest. Actually, this guest was on my radar for a little while, for a number of years. You know, he hails from my old stomping grounds of DC or DC adjacent, right? But for whatever reason, our paths never crossed until I moved up here to New Jersey, and you know, we're both doing this wedding photography thing for a living. But in any case, I don't know if our circles actually overlap too much or not. But in any case, I had noticed that you know, in my feed one day that he was going to be teaching something in Barcelona. I was like, well, I mean, I would like to meet this guy one day, but I also would like to go to Barcelona too. So I was like, you know what, babe, you want to go to Barcelona, meet this guy too? And she was like, yeah, let's go do it. So
Barcelona.
So sure enough,
Barcelona.
So sure enough, we went there across the Atlantic Ocean to meet someone who lives only like 3 hours away from us. Well, maybe not 3 hours, maybe 5 hours, right? But in any case, ever since then, we've been friends. I like to consider him a friend of the show, friend of ours. So anyway, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to our good friend, Mr. Ken Peck. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Ken Pack.
Oh, it's my honor, privilege. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Did you realize you influenced someone to travel way around the world for you?
I mean, he was part of the reason, but
yeah, I was like very. I was a very small percentage of his reason, but yeah, we get to eat together. We had some productive time together. Yeah.
No, that was a fun trip. Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun. Was that 2018 or 2019? I want to say it's 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Like that was right around the time I rebranded from my old style of shooting to a style that was a little bit more authentic to how I wanted to shoot. You know, did you know that authentic is the word of the year, according to I don't know what it is. Did you guys see the news?
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, the word of the year, Merriam-Webster dictionary, is authentic. Right?
Or 23 or 24?
This year, 23.
Oh, nice.
That's the word of the year. Yeah.
I think everyone's tapping into their true self this year.
Yeah. So in 2018, when I met Ken, that's when I tapped into my true self.
You know what? Are you giving full credit to Ken?
A little bit of Ken. Okay, I'll give some credit to Ken, right? But it was during that year when I was like, you know, I'm gonna do something different because I'm burnt out. You know, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced burnout in your work. I think Ken may have spoken to this point sometime in our many conversations and stuff. You know, like, you know, if you don't want to experience burnout, you want to continue enjoying this for many, many years. And I think Ken can probably maybe speak on that today, hopefully, about having longevity in this business. You know, how do you maintain that longevity in your business? Because God willing, I'd like to do this. Well, I'm pretty sure Karis doesn't feel the same way, but I would like to do this for another maybe 5 or 10 more years if my body can handle it. Okay.
That's it.
My body's not. My
What's
body's not going to be able to handle it. My body's not going to be able to handle it.
I said 5 to 10 years is not that much time.
But we're
right around the corner.
We're only a couple years older than them. But Ken, how long you been shooting, Ken?
As a full time since 2005, so 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah, full time.
Do you get after 2 more years? You get like a watch? You get a cooking set?
Does it come with a pension?
That's what you get. You get a boat.
Yeah. Like every year, I try to reward myself for hardworking, but like every year, you feel different about all these the wedding, the flow, the trend, the way people shoot, and then how color their photos. Everything is getting better and better. And then sometimes you may feel like you're falling behind. I think that's when your passion sort of goes down when you compare yourself to other people, or trend. Yeah. But I think back to his authentic, the word of the year. Try to be authentic to yourself, your craft. I think that's what makes your mind win against all these odds and obstacles. Just be strong for yourself, trust yourself. Your clients will ultimately see it. And these are the people who will pay you for your living. Yeah, and then,
they pay the bills.
That's how you enjoy.
These nails are not going to pay for themselves, you know. Right, Jen?
That's that's one of our, like, at least my biggest struggle is like kind of like what you just said of like following the trends and trying to stay true to what your style is.
Yeah.
It's good to hear someone who's been in the industry so long, say this, just stay true to yourself. Yeah. And the work will come anyway. So that's awesome to hear.
It's like, I don't know if you guys have like ideal clients every time you shoot the weddings. Do you have ideal crowd, audience? You just, there are always like people who kind of elevates your stress level at the weddings, because it's like you want to achieve.
With Jen, it's everyone.
Yeah, like you want to achieve like right above 100% at every client's wedding, and then all these obstacles, the causing your stress level going up. You kind of lose your passion, you lose your flow. You just like sometimes you get lost. Like these are the things that kind of make contribution to like low energy. But there's always like ways to find your right client, ideal client, just to keep your energy high at the wedding. And then this is what people see you as a photographer. Like they want to hire people with the high energy, unless you're shooting a very dark, like super low key wedding that where the energy is not really considered as a big contribution to their wedding.
Right. So we want to hear a little bit more about your journey. You started shooting in 2005, you said, right? Did you start shooting for someone else, or did you just start off on your own right away?
So like right before I chose to become a full-time wedding photographer, my friends were getting married. I mean, even like after I chose to become a wedding photographer, my friends continued to get married. So ultimately, I started, shooting because they asked me to take photos of their engagement sessions, and then sort of like the formal like sessions with their wedding going on. So I get to practice a lot using them as my guinea pigs. And also I started doing a lot of videos before I started shooting stills, because I didn't know how to get into the photography market. And then all these like existing market shares in our wedding photography industry, they were like sort of, I don't know, high profile business owners. It's like there was so much like charisma, like power. It's just like everybody, every vendor had to look up to the photographers because they're the masterminds at the weddings. Even planners, they have to beg for like all the excuses for the photography. Everything has to be prioritized for the photography. So that's why I had no idea how to get there. So I started with the video, which was like sort of less high profile than, photography.
So you started with wedding video? You started shooting wedding video first?
So I made a transition from 80% of my workflow to nothing nowadays. So 20% photography, 80% video. That's how I started, like migrating into 0% video as of 2014. So it took me about 9 years just to give up my videography work. But anyways, back to my videography experience, that's how I trained myself, just watching photographers in action in the field. Just like, because back then we were using the tripods. What do you do with the tripods? You just stand still and then watch what's going on your video camera. So with this old school camera and then system, I was able to just watch the entire flow of wedding photography at every single wedding. So it got me exposed to about 50 weddings just to watch all kinds of different photographers working right next to me. And then it's a paid
You're
training.
getting paid to learn.
Yeah, people pay
Paid
me.
training.
Well, it's not the photographer pay me, but my client pay me to watch their photographers.
They're still waiting for the videos today.
So I learned,
remember to set up the audio.
Yeah,
to get the
I
toast.
learned how to entertain the audience for the group shots, how to pick how to argue with the church lady for some special access, like how to orchestrate, how to like, I don't know, how to work with the planners, all these things. Because I had to stand next to the photographer to learn everything, because they want me to learn the flow of the day. Because we have to kind of like stage ourselves together. So it was, I don't really share this kind of story with the other people, because it's a huge leak of my secret. But
So if you guys want to become a better wedding photographer, go become a videographer.
Oh yeah, that's the route. But thing is that you learn so much about the composition in cinematic format. It's just you master the cinematic format.
Sure.
But nowadays we use a 2x3.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not really not the same format, but you kind of see how to compose your things. And then I made a transition from old school camera to 5D Mark II, which was the invention of the tool for the invention of the cinematic video at that time. So I shot a few cinematic videos, and then I made 100% transition to stills. Yeah. But I learned so much by just standing next to the photographers back in old time. Yeah.
You know what's refreshing to know is that no matter where you are in the United States, everyone has to battle with the church lady. That part is pretty much universal.
Yeah.
So
they take their job serious.
Yeah, they take their jobs very seriously. The next question that we all ask our every guest, right? How much did you charge for your first wedding?
My first wedding,
First photography wedding.
$0 with a gift.
What?
You got less
You
than
lost
Moses.
money.
Sometimes,
For free.
like, I spend my own time working there, and then also editing. Sometimes I to give them some sort of gift for their wedding because it's my friend's wedding. So
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But what your first paid gig then? How much did you get paid for your first paid gig?
maybe 500.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Solid.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. You can get 8 Moses cruises for that money.
I don't know. You could probably get like 9.
We have a friend. He shot his first
I
wedding for
don't really keep up with
$60.
that number, so I'm just like making up the number. But that was like
Our good friend Moses Cruise, he's a friend of the podcast. His first wedding, he shot it for $60. I was like, but he was so happy to get it, as he should be.
I don't remember. Yeah,
I mean, we all have to start from somewhere, you know. I think,
yeah.
I think that's a crucial step that, at least in my personal opinion, that I see a lot of newcomers they try to skip altogether. You know,
Yeah, the
there's a
number
process
is
to all this.
Yeah, the number is very important to your. I think it kind of plays high value to your experience, but the amount of experience you got, like field experience, and then the experience with the human relations, I think that comes more important than money. So I try to not to follow the money at the time. Try to follow what the best to be a photographer, just good photographer. But it took me about 10 years just to get out of that perception. Yeah.
Of what? Perception of what?
Just being a good photographer. Yeah. You have to be authentic to yourself. It took me 10 years to realize that. Find my voice, my own voice.
Yep.
Being a good photographer doesn't mean anything.
That's so true.
So it took you about, I guess you said 10 years to find your voice.
Yeah.
And what was the motivating factor for you to, that made it important for you to kind of find this voice for yourself?
My craft was not getting any better because I was like confined the area. I was not looking anything outside of my own like area.
Your own footprint, right? Like, because you serve Northern
perimeter.
Virginia and DC and Baltimore.
Yeah. That was
Right.
like everything I knew about the photography world. Even like I was heavily involved with my ethnic group, photographers. So a lot of Asian people, like their style, I was following the trend in Korea, which didn't work well for the mainstream marketing in the States. So I was like, that's when I was kind of like lost. Like, you know, hey, my work is not, I mean, it's comparatively better than average. But my inner struggle was that, you know, when I compare my work against like the best known photographer's work, I was so beat up. Like I was so lost. So
You
I
and
was
I
like,
both. Everyone in this chat, when we look at other photographers, like, oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's what triggered me to start finding my voice. I befriended all my photographer friends back then. Like all these, like mostly like, you know, local and then Asian photographers. I cut my relationship with them. No more relationship. And then I started like looking back my work and then try to find what really worked for me, what I really liked. And that's when I started becoming members of the contest, like Fearless, ISBWP, WPJA, all these, like, just to see how others, I want to say,
game.
like, how good my work is compared to others, and then, like, you know, how my work can continue to work for my future client, things like that. And in terms of payment, like, I wanted to raise my price, but I wanted to validate what really makes this price hike reasonable. Because I didn't have any like fancy life background, so I don't know how to wear better clothes. I don't know how to present myself better. My only tool was my hands and my brain, my eyes. I didn't really care about my look. I didn't care about having my own studio space. Like, I had my own studio space for 4 years, but I didn't get much out of that space. Like it was like useless. No walking clients. I didn't know how to market out my studio space. So back then, that's the only knowledge I had from the local photographers. Like all these like things I learned. So I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, my confined space, just to see what makes me change. What can change my mind, my perceptions. That's what triggered me to see the things differently.
Yeah, they say that there's a saying out there that says that comparison is the thief of joy, right? If you ever want to feel depressed, you compare yourself to others. But it sounds like once you started comparing yourself to others, that was kind of the fire under your ass, to get you going, to motivate you to be better and to do better. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's a fair way of competing yourself to others, but also it kind of helps you develop your inner strength much better.
Did you get to shoot with a lot of these people that you admired? You got to shoot with them and learn from them firsthand, or were you just studying their images and trying to deconstruct it?
So I'm 100% self-taught. The one, like I never worked for anybody. The only influence that I got from the field was just watching other photographers working when I was doing video. I didn't take any workshop, zero workshop, zero conference. Everything I learned from the books or other people's work, internet, YouTube.
YouTube University.
Oh man, way back. Way back.
Yeah, it's like first 2 years of YouTube. Yeah.
If we can we go back to like the whole awards talk? So when you were submitting to these competitions, because I feel like there's a lot of bad publicity of other photographers who like shame other photographers that chase awards. I do it for myself. I don't do it to gain clients out of winning awards. I do it to push myself and to grow. So let's talk about how awards were for you. Did it help you grow? Did it help you get clients?
Yeah, of course, everything you said is legit. It helps you grow. But think about who gets more excited when you receive an award. Your family, yourself, your kids, your client. You know, people always follow all these like celebrity life. Like they wanna like raise their bars for their better life. When they get married, they wanna have good photos. But also they wanna hire a photographer whom they can relate to, like for their better life, presenting their life to other people in better way. So they want to relate their life, like photographer, so closely because he's the one she's the one who's going to capture the highlight of your life, the best highlight of your life, which is a wedding. So I think being a award-winning photographer comes really big value to my clients, and then I think they really make a big deal out of it. A lot of my clients, they don't care, but there are some clients who care about it. My friends care about it. My family cares about it. So, and I want to be a good role model for my son too. I'm a father of a only child, but like I want him to see like if his dad can be someone he can look up to in terms of achieving something. We always praise about Van Gogh, all these like fancy artists, like historical artists, because of their achievement, being different, being unique, being creative. Like I want him to find a trigger to drive his life better because of little influence coming from me. Also, my wife can be proud of my awards. It just like all this like positive energy you get from the like surroundings. It kind of like elevates your energy more, and also it kind of like drives your creative power further up. So it just
I like it.
There's so much synergy. Like it's kind of very complex, but I don't want to negate the strengths of awards because of your egoistic thinking. Hey, I'm cool. I don't care about the awards. I don't need to rave about myself. It's not about that. It's just yeah. Van Gogh, he has to work for like 20 different artists in their studios for 20 years just to come up with his own craft.
Yep.
This is how much of years and time you have to invest into just to come up with your own craft. And what is the most significant craft of your work? Like, what's the key image that really describes your photography work? do you have one? That's my challenge to every single photographer. Yeah, you have to speak for your own voice, your lifestyle. Eventually, you're gonna have clients who wants to match their lifestyle with the photographer because they believe this is the person can best describe our life in 8-hour wedding shoot.
So I mean, it's always really nice to get some validation, outside validation that that you produce good work. It's a nice little pat on the back. Obviously, some of us don't need it, right? Anytime someone tells you, "Hey," they give you a high five. "Hey, you did a great job." That's good. I mean, that feels great. No matter who you are, I celebrate my wife's wins. I celebrate my friends' wins and stuff like that. I hope they get good vibes off of that when I give them high fives. I don't know if they do. Babe, did you get good feelings when I gave you high fives?
High five. Where was this high five?
She doesn't recall the high five
I
you gave her.
celebrate you every day.
Sure.
Actually, I do high fives a lot at the weddings. Like,
Yeah.
Even any sessions I do, even corporate sessions, like the hand claps, hand touches, like high fives, it just brings different vibes to the space. So,
It does.
Yeah.
yeah.
My thing is have fun, like why be so serious? That's me. Have fun.
There's so much like things you don't know what's coming after your high fives. There's so much of a power.
So I guess my follow-up question.
After you put your hand in my face, I was like, "What?"
He wants a high
Not
five.
intentionally, but it's just like it has to be very authentic, spontaneous.
Yes.
It's gotta be authentic, bro.
And spontaneous.
It's gonna happen
was.
on its own, organically, okay?
Yeah.
So I guess my follow-up question to that is, authenticity. While we're talking about authenticity and shooting for yourself and all that, right? Do you have clients who approach you, or rather inquiries who approach you and ask you to shoot in a style that's not authentic or organic to you?
So,
and if you do you take those clients?
Of course, yeah. Like when you design your website, like, do you ever post photos of your clients' family photos?
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I lie. I have one family photo because it's fun. It's a fun family photo. You go to my website?
But I'm talking about the like very old school style family photo.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You never do it, right? People can like find the photographer who can best describe their life. But also, it's not only the client who's looking for such style. Their parents, their grandparents, they're always looking for photographers who can just take simple family photo, which comes super valuable to their family heirloom. A lot of print orders that I get from my client is just like face looking at the camera.
Right. It's the grip and grins.
And just like groups.
Yep.
Just groups of people, not just like fancy, super creative photos that I'm really delving for my life as a photographer, but they just want simple photos. And then they pay high price for that. Yeah. But anyways, back to your question. Sorry, your question was
if you have a client who's not quite the match, because the thing is, you shoot a little bit of a quirky style, something that's a little bit offbeat.
Yeah. I'm
right?
sorry. Yeah.
So if someone who's not quirky and not offbeat, they're quite serious, but they want you to shoot a more serious style, do you take the client and just roll with it?
I do take the client, but I want to educate my client first by visiting my website and my blogs, just to let them know that, hey, this is the style that I'm shooting. So when you visit my website, especially the first like long slideshow that I have, there's no photo of my client looking at the camera. There's no portrait, no single portrait on my website, especially the first page. And if my client loves my presentation, then they will be my ideal client. But there are some clients who also need the conventional portraits. But which one is easier, being creative than taking conventional? Conventional is much easier. So for me, I think it's just a easy task I can achieve. But when they ask for some creative photos, or if I see something unique, spontaneously fun, then I capture those, and that also bring like I would say it adds a lot to their collections on top of what they're looking for. So they want conventional on top of the style that I have on my website. Yeah.
Mhm.
Every
So
family needs.
you normally attract your people, is what you're saying. It's not too often you'll get someone who's not an ideal client. Usually, the people who come on board,
They
the
don't. They
people you
don't
attract,
come. Yeah, they don't
yeah, they
come
usually.
because my website, like when I compare my website to like many of our local photographers' website, is very unique. I'll
Right, very
say.
different.
Yeah, it's very
Right.
different. No, there's no like earthy, like airy style photos. I mean, I do take these photos in a nice way, but that's not the way I describe my work. It's gotta be highly storytelling, super narrative, sometimes spontaneous but fun and creative, sometimes seriously emotional, immersively like connecting. A lot of my
Mhm.
clients who look at my work before they hire me, they feel they were at the wedding, they were at the moment of the photo I captured, or they can relate themselves so strong to the images I have or moments I have in the photos. So my clients hire me not only because of the like price range or just like my capability of taking photos, but just they find so much connections through their visit to my website or blogs, yeah,
Mm.
or Instagram.
And that's a way to be authentic to yourself, showing like you're showing exactly what you want to shoot to detract the people who might want 100% traditional, light and airy, organic, beautiful photos. That you're saying this is who Ken is, but I will also get the other things you need, like traditional family portraits. But
Yeah,
the rest of the day is going to be more of my inspiration and how I shoot.
Mhm.
correct.
Those traditional family photos are important. You guys remember that story I shared with you guys maybe about a week or two ago, where Karis and I were, this client inquired with both me and Karis, right? And this was the sister of a groom that we had previously shot. And the one takeaway from her experience working with us wasn't so much of, wasn't as much about my approach on the wedding day. The reason why I stayed top of mind, the reason why, they remembered Ben and Karis Lau when it came time for them to need a photographer was because that bride whom we shot several years ago, she printed all these family pictures and they became Christmas gifts and things like that, right? That's what they remember, these boring family photos. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of us like bitch and complain and just like, oh, I hate these take forever and these are not fun or whatever. But these are important for grandma and for mom. And
Yeah, I
these are
mean,
things.
picture wise, it's very simple, boring, but it carries so much of meaning. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. I know they bring us on board to be the artist that day, but
Yeah.
you have, listen, the family photos take maybe 15, 20 minutes. You still have 7, 8 hours to do your creative artistry. Okay.
Mhm.
yeah,
Serve the clients first. That's the most important.
yeah.
Do we want to talk about your big tips?
That's such a
My
random
business,
segue.
I think it's been covered already. Like finding your client, like your own ideal client, is not an easy task. But you speak through your craft, your work.
Mhm.
So I think my tip for finding the right client, because that's the biggest dilemma people have, like whether they're my right client or not. You always in the fear, how you.
Oh, I didn't mean tip as in advice. I mean tip as in like a money in an
Money,
envelope.
Gratuity.
Money. Yes. Oh my god.
I wasn't talking about advice, but that could be advice. But
So
in any
this is
case,
my first time talking about money, business, like
sure,
in any
I'm
form
here
of
for it.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah.
business
Usually I talk
podcast.
about the inspirations and then the craft at the conferences and workshops. But anyways, so money wise,
So before we talk about tips, let's talk about pricing yourself for success, right? Because you said that when you first started, you were charging somewhere in the ballpark of like 500, right? And I think for us, we charge somewhere around the same, around 400. I forgot what the Molinas charged for your first one. What did you guys charge for your first one? Like 600?
It was whatever a new Nikon flash costed is what I did it for. So it was like 160, 180. I was like, all right, I'll do it for the price of a new flash.
Just to buy more gears, like
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
But what
Two
advice would you
photographers, we
give?
only got one flash.
Yeah, so but you have a backup, man. Imagine your flash dies and every time. What are you gonna do? You
No,
gonna shoot at
I
ISO
did.
10,000?
So I had one flash, and I told them to pay me enough to buy a second flash. And that's what it was, I mean,
What
I
did
was
you-
a solid shooter.
What did you guys
But it was
start
my
with? I
first
think you said you started with a D40. Is that what you started with?
Yeah, D40 and a D60. Yeah.
So the camera doesn't go above ISO 800, right?
I mean, it does, but you don't want to go more than that. I mean, at that point, if it's natural light at 800, it doesn't look well. If you're using flash, you get away with higher.
Yeah.
But I mean, the cameras today that you get for that price are like, imagine starting with that back then.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I mean, so what kind of advice would you give to folks who are trying to price themselves right? Do you think that sometimes pricing is kind of holding some folks back from getting more bookings and getting the right clients?
So up until pandemic, I've been increasing my price like $500 in average for my packages, but I stopped doing it after the pandemic. But thing is that there's certainly like budget situations that every couple has, but I think you have to sort of fight for it by presenting your unique voice and style. If they're looking for just like super general wedding photos, it's really hard to compete against the other photographers in terms of pricing. So finding more of your right client, like ideal client, means you can sort of make your own pricing structure that really works for any client, because they want to hire you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So my pricing is highly different, but it's very simple. Like it starts with the 4,000 and goes all the way to 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go by the hours and some albums. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they have 2 photographers, 1 photographer, or whether they want engagement photos or more hours on their wedding day. Of course, I customize it, but any client beyond 10 grand can be tough, because a lot of their resource comes from the parents' pocket, and parents come play big. They want to put some voice in their deals. So if you don't want to deal with the parents, I think 10 grand is the cut.
the threshold of
threshold cut. But anyways, back to my pricing. It's a simple design, but it's highly designed. It's kind of like works for a lot of my client who just look for me and my style. That's it. So they sometimes, I think I hardly negotiate the price with my clients. They just pick whatever packages they think it works for their budget and then hours of their coverage.
Because when they come on board, they already know that they're booking with you. Now it's just a matter of which package they want.
A lot of times they say, we have no choice other than you. It just, your style just fits our vision. I say, hey, there's so many like creative photographers in East Coast, like Ben and Curry's or Damien. But the thing is that they want to find someone local, because they want to be. It's just like they want to have a connection, continue. So if you have photographers with the same style in your area, then be friend with them and just work with the pricing with them. Because these are the very like small group of photographers in the area. Then that your clients have small options for selection. So
that's why when the Molinas started raising their rates, I was like, damn it, the Laos have to raise their rates too now. Damn it, we gotta raise our rates too. We can't be the cheapos in the market.
But if your style is the same as others,
too good to be true.
But if your style is highly average, then I highly have tips for it. Sorry.
But back to what you were saying. I mean, this is the same thing that I preach to a lot of my students as well, right? Like, if the clients appreciate everything that you bring to the table, and you have a unique voice, you have a very unique proposition to give them, they will pay the price as long as you're not being ridiculous with your pricing, right? Because the matter of over $500 or even $1,000, it is, if they're comparing between two photographers and it's a matter of $1,000, it's not going to make a huge deal because the average cost of a wedding here in the Northeast, it's anywhere between $35,000 to $60,000, and that's the average. Sometimes it goes a little higher, sometimes it goes a little lower.
Yeah.
I think in our chat group we talked today. There was a venue in our area that charges $400 a plate, and if the average wedding is 150 to 200 people, you're talking about $60,000, $80,000 just on the catering bill. You're not even talking about flowers and hair and makeup and video and all that other stuff. You put all that stuff together, it's like $100,000 for a wedding. $1,000 budget is not a huge deal for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like when you're in that price range, what happens is they start to skimp out on other stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's when they email you for a photo budget for like $2,000, and the venue was like you said, $400 a plate, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, a lot of people in the wedding industry, they have a high level like business skills. They have a really good marketing skills. They have a really good in-person sales skills. Photographers, because we're so awesome, we don't have that kind of strategy and then marketing tactics. So I think my best advice is just for those who want to win the battle of negotiations. I think find your weddings, the past weddings that really matches your client's vision or venue, and just send them not the blog post, a highlight, like about I would say 300 to 500 photos from getting ready throughout the whole the event, and just convince them that hey, not many photographers present the full collections to the clients to review their skills, but I'm not saying the full collection, but the highlights, but more than 300, because they scan through the photos so fast, and then let them just review your awesome collection of highlights from any weddings that really matches your client's vision, and just let them consider you and have them more chance to hire you than any other people who are lazier than you. So being more diligent is very important too.
Yeah. As long as I think that as long as you're showing the right work, you're solving the right problems, you're kind of speaking to the client's soul, they will pay the price. Even if you're a little bit more expensive, because you're the perfect solution to what they're looking for, right? They'll book you, and that's
also,
kind of my
showing them your passion and energy, devotion in photography, devotion in their storytelling, wedding day. I think that really makes your business go better.
Yeah, for sure. So in that way, you were able to raise your rates a little bit. Do you know how Karis and I figured when's the right time to raise our rates? When the tips started getting bigger and bigger. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I could have charged them more and they would have paid it. I got a $500 tip here. That means I could have charged them $500 more because clearly they had it in their budget, right? So that's kind of, for a long time, that's how I did it. I'm actually, even to this very day, I'm very, very conservative when it comes to raising the rates because I don't want to feel like I'm overpricing myself. People have been telling me for years to raise my prices, but what?
Back to that process. For us, we've been raising our rates and our tips are getting bigger and bigger every year. So how can you how can you use that
because
as
I can't keep up?
No, I'm just saying it's nice, right? But every year, because we keep track of everything, just for numbers' sake, right? Every year, about the amount that we've been getting tipped goes up, and we've been raising our prices. So, in this case, would you still keep raising your rates?
I think I would. I think there's room to raise your rates if they're getting these big tips, especially if they're tipping you like 4-figure tips and stuff. My tips usually don't go that high. I think my tips usually average around 300 to 500. And by the way, we have clients listening. Tipping is not expected. They always appreciate they're not expected. If you don't tip me, I'm not going to be angry, okay? I promise you. But yeah, I mean, throughout my entire career, they usually range somewhere between 300 to 500. I think the biggest tip I ever got was a week-long trip to Disney. That was pretty dope.
Valued at $10,000.
Is that what it is? They're like, you just got to pay for your way down there, but you can stay in our timeshare. I was like, what? So that was my first trip to Disney.
That's like a good $1,000, $1,500 value.
You think
for the
so?
stay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Yeah. Are we sharing numbers? Are we sharing numbers? Did
As
you guys
far
ever hit
as
4 figures? Did you guys ever hit 4 figures for tips?
just recently,
Yeah.
someone tipped us $1,400.
Wow.
How many
Yeah,
hours was a day? How many hours?
it was like a 9-hour day, right?
9 or 10.
Yeah, it was shocking. We've never reached that 4 figure till recently, but on numerous occasions we've been tipped like $800-900 throughout the years. But I feel like we're about in the same ballpark as you.
Mhm.
As far as our averages, anywhere between like 200 to 500.
Mhm.
It's great. Like every time we get tipped, we always look at each other. We got grocery money.
Our kids get to eat more spam this week.
But I think it all ties back to what you do behind the scenes for your clients. Customer service. Are you responsive? Are you timely? What are you going above and beyond for them? It's not just like, oh, I'm just getting randomly tipped after shooting a wedding. Like there's a different level of service that we provide in the back end than like the DJ or the person running the photo booth who gets their tip at the end of the night. I think ours is very dependent on all the work we've done before the wedding and all the work we still have to do after the wedding, which is a lot. We're the only ones that stick around afterwards. So I think it's also a kind of appreciation of like what's to come as far as like the work we're putting into editing, delivering albums, all the post wedding stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you should always be serving your clients. You shouldn't be serving them just because you think there might be a tip coming your way, right? But I think if you put all that positive juju out there, it will come back to you. In the form of positive juju or tips.
Yeah.
But does Mr. Ken Pack have any insight on tipping or getting these large tips?
Yeah, tipping is always a surprise. You don't really have to anticipate it, but it's a big reward. People really want to appreciate like how much of a effort and then hard work you have put towards their wedding. For me, I'm a high, like I'm very physical at the wedding. I'm saying I'm violent, but I work a lot.
Are you beating up
everybody?
You're beating up this video guy who's watching your every move.
I'm very aggressive. I'm very aggressive with the inner fight. So I always try to find a chance and way to capture their best moments. Or priceless moments. Timeless moments. And people see it. People really see, and then they talk about us during the ceremony, during the reception, during the cocktail hour. Hey, who's that? The photographer you hired. He's like an energizer bunny. So I hear that. And then people come to me and then they say, we appreciate that. You put so much energy towards our nephew's wedding or my friend's wedding, and thank you so much for taking care of all these like moments. And and then it all comes to the ears of a client, and they're the one who want to sort of make it a little more official by tipping us. So some people they're like, hey, if you want to tip them, let's do 20%. Like American standard. So
that's like $800,000.
Yeah. So sometimes, like if if it is a 10 grand wedding, then I get 20%. If it is a 8,000 wedding, I still get 20%. So even if it is a small pandemic wedding, I still get 20%. It's just you don't really give an idea, but I really appreciate this, the tipping culture we have in America. I heard that outside of the US, it's really hard to get tip.
Oh yeah.
Actually, just to get anything above $3,000 is like pulling teeth outside the US, because I think we have some European friends who are at the top of their game. They're some of the best photographers in the world, and they struggle to get more than $2,500 or $3,000.
So we're talking about bookings. The first word, anxiety, and but thing is that if you want to be tipped really good, then just put your energy and then Sorry, my dog.
That sounds like a chihuahua, very angry chihuahua.
Oh my goodness, we have
I was waiting for him. I saw
Amazon
him
delivery
looking.
outside.
I was like, he's gonna start. He's gonna do something.
Sorry. I have to kick
No,
my
you're fine.
dog out of my room soon. I think my wife is
Oh, it's a
getting.
Jack Russell. I'm sorry, he's not a
Oh, there
chihuahua.
you
He's
go.
a Jack
There's
Russell.
my
Yeah,
wife
he's
is
a Jack-
racing for my Jack Russell right there. He's detained in another room.
You kicked him out of his own room.
It's sort of like that. It's sort of like that video of the guy during the pandemic. There was a news
Yeah, the
reporter. He's getting
anchorman.
interviewed, and then a baby comes in, right? and then the mom comes in to
Wife,
like drag them.
But people want to give
Your
you.
wife's going to become a meme of the podcast.
But back to tipping, people want to give you everything because it's a very emotional day for everybody, and they're just like immensely like drawn to all these like appreciations that they have towards the all the vendors or all the participants at the wedding. So like if you can deliver the photos next day, like just highlights, like just 50 photos next day, the tipping scale can be different.
Mhm.
If you arrive at the venue 30 minutes earlier, or if you leave the venue after your DJ leaves, that can change the perception of your client. And then the
Mhm.
tipping scale can be a lot different next day.
Yeah, 1000%. I I don't know if you know this, Ken. My wife and I, we have an associate team, right? And one thing that we stress with them so much is that, listen, it costs you nothing to go the extra mile. Okay, it just costs you maybe a little bit more effort, a little bit more time, but otherwise it costs you nothing, right? So if you show up an extra 15, 30 minutes early, if you leave a little 15, 30 minutes a little late, maybe because dinner service ran a little late, right? So you decide to give the couple a little bit more time because they're doing a sparkler exit or whatever it is, right? You give it to them, no questions asked, right? Because the thing is, you don't have to give it to them if you don't want to, but also they don't have to tip you. They don't have to refer you to their friends and their family. There's a lot of things they don't have to do, because tipping is not mandatory, right? So the more above and beyond that you go for your clients, my philosophy is that the more above and beyond they'll go for you as well.
Mhm.
I mean, do you guys agree with that sentiment?
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%.
But like you said, doing it genuinely, not like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to go above and beyond because there's got
I'm
to be
gonna get a
something
tip.
at the other end. And then
Yeah.
you get
Where's my
nothing,
tip?
and then
Or
you're bitter about it.
You're all packed up, ready to go, and the cake runs behind, and they tipped you. You unpack because you're gonna stay a little longer.
like you guys said, it has to be genuine. It has to be like just ongoing. If you don't do it out of your heart, then people know it. They're highly experienced with the life and human relations. So if they see you genuine, then they'll appreciate either with their words or money.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
way.
For that reason, I don't keep track. I don't keep track of my tips. I know some people do. Like, this client gave me this much. This client gave me that much. I don't. Everyone gets over the top service for me. I'm not saying this just because this is being recorded, but I don't notate who gave me what. Because I don't want to harbor any weird feelings towards clients who didn't tip me. I'm going to assume
It
that
has
they
to
all
be
tipped me.
organic. Yeah. But the thing is that I'm not making any judgment here. But just you can really $100 can be really big for them.
Exactly.
Or 1,400 could be nothing for them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You have to just
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. So that's why I don't keep track. They already brought me on board. That's one of the greatest gifts that they can give me. My ability to do this for a living, continue doing this for a living, provide for my family. That's the greatest gift that they can
But
give
see,
me.
I mean, aren't you guys like tempted to pick up like $1 bill, like from the Nigerian, like the money dance or
Money dances.
The Greek
Filipino money dance? There's like
a lot of ethnic weddings. They have money dances.
Yeah.
Egyptian
and,
Greeks, they just like toss out the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
for a long time, I thought it was fake
More
money,
like-
but it's real money.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
for Greek weddings, like some of the Greek weddings, when they get a band, they kind of negotiate whether they pay the band or the band is working off of the tips. So like the band brings a briefcase full of singles, and it's like thousands of dollars, and people will come throughout the night, exchange hundreds, 50s, and at the end of the
wow.
night, all the money that's swept, that's the band's payment. So a wedding that we did, they had garbage bags full of singles
Cash?
at the end of the night. Yeah, it was all cash. So in that culture, there's when it's a big wedding and they're splurging on a nice band, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so basically, there's money flying all night.
yeah.
Make sure
All right.
you have an open like a sling.
Yeah.
I don't know how this money got here. It just fell in my
flying
bag.
flying
It
into.
just fell in my bag. I don't know how it got there. Yeah. All right. So we talked about pricing. We talked about tips. We talked about booking quirky couples and stuff like that. Let's talk about your big packages, right? When you said, when you get up to those 5-figure bookings and stuff, these are including albums, I'm assuming, right? Yeah. Are you doing the album designs in-house? You're outsourcing it? Do the album sales come after the wedding day, or are these included in the package up front? How are you structuring albums in your
I guess it all
workflow?
depends on the client, but
Mhm.
I have some packages that have albums already included. We try to do the design in house. Only thing we outsource is the print, like album binding. So, and then we try to put a margin of I'll say from 200 to 300%. So if we were to
On
sell
the what? On the
the
album?
album, yeah. So if the album cost is like $3,000, then our expense will be a lot less than what we charge to our clients.
Mhm.
And I think that's the magic of print sales, because
So
print
2x,
is
3x your cost. So if it costs you $1,000, you're charging 3,000.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
try to put a lot of value into the print, because once your photos become print, it has a very tangible, like touch and value, and people really appreciate how their photos turn into beautiful print. And if we do, because we know we're the only people who know about the flow of the day. We know how to design the album better than anybody else.
Mhm.
So we
So
design the album.
are you doing these consults live? Or are you doing it? They give you the photos and then you design the albums. Are you doing any IPS? How are you selling these albums?
Mostly online. We do consultations virtually 1 or 2 times.
Mhm.
Sometimes if they happen to living close to our place, then we visit their house and then sort of present it on their big screen TV or our laptop, just to kind of make it go faster than online meetings. So a lot of people, like especially parents or grandparents, they need special help. So we kind of assist them better with the selection of the photos, and then the design of the placement of the photos here and there in the layout. Yeah.
Do you bring like print samples, album samples to these calls so they can touch it?
I
And feel
used
it?
to. So before pandemic, 90% of my client meetings were done in person at the cafe or my home, my basement studio. That's when they were able to see the album print and then sort of purchase on site or after their wedding. But nowadays, after pandemic, everything is done online, even all the meetings, so even album consultations. So I think it kind of keeps my life so much easier, but it kind of take away the organic connections I have with my client. I think they still see the value of the print, and then I think they're still willing to make some special investment.
Right.
Just don't judge the difficulty of a client consultation on the albums, because it can lead you a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't start doing. We always offered albums, but we didn't really lean into it until this year.
If you
Thanks
have a
to the
difficulty,
Molinas. Yeah.
just you can just outsource it. Even any in-person sales, there's people who are looking for opportunities.
That's exactly what we did.
That's what we did
And
too.
yeah.
I still try to do it in house, but because of the organic connections I want to create with my client, but you can also rely on the online print sales, like all these auto-generated print sales you can do. So you don't really have to sell albums. The prints, which also has like anywhere between 300 and 400% margin, you can still make a lot of money out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So
true.
I don't really force my client to purchase the album. Like I kind of force them. I would say I organically ask them to purchase the print from the companies that I use, so they can get really awesome colors. Like I never recommend them to use any available sources like Walmart, like
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
CVS,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
their color correction is really bad. Yeah.
So, so for those of you guys who don't know, Ken Pack is actually going to be joining us at the Focus AF Summit on January 11th, right here in Homedale, New Jersey. So, Mr. Ken, tell our listeners what you will be teaching us on the stage.
Pretty much like everything we talked about today will be part of my speech. Like I said earlier, this is my first time talking about business side of my photography work, so I still don't know what would be the most effective topic to chat about. Photography
I
business.
think having longevity in this business is something that I think a lot of our colleagues would probably admire and probably strive for.
Yeah.
Having longevity in this business, being relevant after
I'll bring
almost
some
2 decades.
I'll bring some key topics. It's not going to be just one topic. I'll be talking about a few
Mhm.
subjects and topics about my work.
Just don't talk about destination weddings, okay?
Well,
you're not going to be able to talk about anything else once you start talking about destination
Oh, yeah.
weddings.
Yeah, and I'll be briefly talking about how awards work for my business too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a
Yeah, I think those are all
earning the
great points.
recognitions. Yeah, make your work so different or unique.
So that the
Yep.
clients want it. When you show it, when you present yourself in this way, this is what the clients want, and they'll pay good
some
money for
clients,
it. They'll give you
they
big
want
tips
the,
for it.
Yeah, they want the credentials, like photographers who carries the credentials and validations of their work, and then
Mhm.
validation comes heavily from awards. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. So even if you have $30,000 in gift money on your wedding day and you only tip them $100, they're not going to get mad about it. They're still going to deliver. If you guys, this is an audio format, right? But for those of you guys who can't see the video, like there's a teardrop slowly coming down Ken's face.
He got the Michael Jordan crying face.
where's my eye drop?
And before we let you go, usually, Ken, there's usually 2 other things that we talk about before we go, just to get your insight on current events and things like that, and then we're good. But I think we're about 75% done at this point, maybe a little more. Are you okay to hang out for another 15 more minutes? 10, 15
Yeah.
more minutes? Okay. So Ken, tell our audience how they can find you.
Yeah, where can our listeners, if they want to learn more about you, can they find you? Yeah.
Just my Instagram, my website.
There we go.
We weren't asking you, hey, if they want to find me, they got to come to Centerville, Virginia, and once you
Some
get to
simple
the
questions
Quiznos, you got to make a left.
Make me overthink. So it's really hard.
Like, how
hard
do
for me
my
to
clients find me?
come from the very immense deep talk to the very
Simple.
so low key simple talk, and then
Yeah,
I'm like,
this
I don't
wasn't
know where to.
hard hitting questions,
I think he meant like where clients find him, how they find him. I think that's
not what I was asking. I was asking for
I
his
think that's what he
website.
thought you were asking.
So
yeah.
my thing is I really value like how and then what if questions. Like I'm kind of prepared to answer that a lot of questions that leads up to more thinking than
Right. Not so much just one word answers. All right. Well, it's Ken Pack Photography on Instagram, and it's
Instagram
and also I think on his website, I think it's kenpackphotography.com. I think. All right, that's where you might be able to find him. But guys, just Google him. It's Ken Pack, KenPak. All right, just Google that. I answered it for him. I think we're good there. Just Google his name, guys. All right, you'll find him. Very easy to find. He's a man of many talents, but only 6 letters to his name. All right, he's very easy to find. All right. So what's today's hot topic? I know we have some tea we wanted to share.
Yeah, so I saw an article. I sent it to you guys. It was a couple took out a permit. I think it was in Colorado or Utah. I think it was
In the
Red
desert
Rock
somewhere.
Canyon. So they took out a permit for a small, intimate 10-person wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the mayor or something was jogging, and she came across the wedding site, and there was trucks just there. They left all the garbage, all the tables, all the decor just sitting in the desert there without cleaning it. So, that was very controversial because the Instagram post of the article some people were like, I don't see the problem with it. And
Why is it? Are you kidding me? Why? Because they pay for the permit, they can wreck the place?
I guess so. And then other people in the industry were like, people are pieces of shit to do that, like, so our opinion about it is clean up after yourselves. Like,
Leave no
there's no
trace.
freaking, there's no cleaning service in the middle of the freaking desert to come and clean your crap. Like, take all your shit with you.
Yep. Or hire a cleaning crew. That's part of the job, start to finish.
Yeah. Yep. And the whole thing was the mayor wanted an apology. I'm like, an apology? How about fining them for littering?
Find them. Yep, you can find them.
Yeah, giving them tickets.
You knew who was responsible because you gave them the permit.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, she was like, oh, that they just want an apology. I'm like, screw that. Make them come clean it up.
Yep, apologize and clean it up.
Yeah. Yep. Or set them the cleaning bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll probably never see the photos or videos from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. People do feel a little entitled once they pay a permit for something. I don't know if we talked about this on the last episode. People pay a permit to go somewhere, to shoot somewhere, and they feel like they have the whole run of the place. They can do whatever they want.
Yep.
They basically own the place because they pay $200 a year for a membership, whatever it is.
I pay the maintenance of this park.
Just because you pay a membership fee to go shoot at this private property doesn't make it yours. It's still private property. You got to respect it, and it's semi-private because it is open to the public. But your $200 a year doesn't give you the right to take that experience away from other people who also pay $200 a year to be there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think people got their panties in a twist because now they're charging permits to shoot at these places. Ken, where you are shooting, right? Because you shoot primarily in DC and Virginia, right? These places where you shoot, do they require permits? A lot of permits?
Yep.
Are the permits expensive?
We have a lot of estates, mansions, some private properties. Of course, government-owned facilities like museums and galleries, or private-owned. They just want protection,
Yeah.
There's one occasion that my third shooter broke a $14,000 art piece at a gallery, and then I didn't have a good liability insurance. My insurance agent, my local insurance agent, who has zero knowledge about the artist liability insurance, they didn't put the property damage at the venue. So I was like so scared of the paying it out of our pocket. But luckily my client had an insurance.
Oh.
So I only had to pay deductible, which was $1,000.
Wow.
And then
I would kill my third shooter.
Deductible.
That guy offered me to shoot for me for free, but he didn't want to continue the conversation anymore. So yeah, I think we're not talking anymore. Yeah. about the recovery. Yeah, but if you sign the whatever agreement, make sure you read fully, and then if you're confused, just present it to your lawyer.
Yeah.
Make sure they proofread what you're supposed to be liable for. Yeah, it could be free, or it could take you to pay a certain amount of money, but the nature of a liability is very important. So you have to double check what you're responsible for in case you cause any issues there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, all of DC is basically one giant museum. Everything just has so much historical importance. Can you imagine you go to the Lincoln Memorial and you knock off Abe Lincoln's nose by accident? I mean,
so there was one occasion that I tried to create like the petal shower from the cherry blossom trees. It was the end of the cherry blossom season, so all the fall the petals, they fall right naturally.
Sure.
But in order to maximize the beauty of the effect, I grabbed the branch and then shook it off, and like a few steps away there was like a federal agent.
Oh no!
Was watching us with a smile, and he came up to me that he didn't do anything just to arrest me, but he told me that he could take me to federal jail because
what?
Because of the
government property.
I messed up. It's a federal government property. The trees are part of their federal government property.
Yep.
So it could take me to some serious court cases,
Wow.
legal
Yeah, man.
cases.
You know,
So
if you
don't
pee in a
mess up.
regular,
If you ever come to DC area, don't mess up with the cherry blossom trees. Don't even
Wow.
touch it. Don't even step on it. If there's any sign, make sure you read it. Just read all the conditions. You can read.
Wow.
You can find.
yeah, man. You know, like if you pee in a regular fountain in a regular city, you might get a fine, right? But if you pee in like the reflecting pool, right?
Yep.
That's a federal offense.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all federal offense. Yeah,
Because you're on federal property.
yeah.
Just so you
yeah.
know, the more you know,
Yeah,
guys.
Be respectful.
How do you know this, Ben?
Yeah, just
Well,
be respectful.
anyway, I just know these things. That's all.
Oh,
All right.
by your experience. by your experience, or
No, not with that. No, not in that way. This next segment is brought to you by the Focus AF Summit.
I have something to
Share?
Tea?
not tea, but something I saw. Did you hear me, babe? I talked about it yesterday in the office. Did you hear me?
I wasn't in the office yesterday, but go
You
on.
were. Anyway, so my most recent, like my last wedding, there was a officiant. This is a good thing. Officiant there who was actually, pretty experienced. He's been doing it for over like 10, 20 years, whatever. So I thought he was very involved in the ceremony. The first thing, when guests all sat down on the groom's side of the, chairs, like the whole 5-6 front rows were like all empty, right? No one wanted to sit in the front rows. So, and then, it was like a lot of people were like not there during the ceremony. So, before even ceremony started, the officiant asked everyone to kindly like move to the front of the ceremony seats and fill in, because like no one wants to look at the back
empty
in the
rows.
aisle and
Yeah.
empty rows in the front, right? It'll, in photo and everything, it's not going to look nice. So I thought that was very nice. So he kindly asked everyone to come fill all the seats in the front. And then what other thing he did was like he asked everyone to come to the seats in the aisle, fill those in, because when the bride and everyone's walking in, if those seats are empty, he's like, it's not going to look good in photos. And he was very considerate. And I thought this was like great thing for officiants because they are in the front, they have the power, a little thing. And what I thought was brilliant that he did after the ceremony, their first kiss, he asked the bride and groom to look at the photographer to do a photo, right? But he made sure the bride and groom were centered. He asked me, he's like, are they centered? If not, I could have them move. So I actually, had them like centered. I told them to move this way, that way. And he was very helpful. I thought he was like, it was good. I think
best.
I should.
Let's all add him to our preferred vendor list.
I want to see more of this. And even before the guest came in, and he was there early. He was there early at the ceremony site, and the centerpieces, like they had a round arch centerpiece, in the front. It was off. It was off center. That drives all of us nuts, right?
Mhm.
He actually moved it. He actually moved it with the video guy, and then he's
This guy's
like,
awesome.
he's like, guys, isn't this off center? Like, it drives me nuts. Like, so he asked the video guy to like move it with. I was like, I wouldn't touch it, liability, right? But he actually had the video guy like move it, and he actually had it like centered. I was like, oh my god, this guy is like amazing. And
That's awesome.
I
But
just
then
thought,
he might get into a war with the floral guy. I've been yelled at by florists all the
war.
time.
yeah,
What's
but
that?
Yeah.
they
Us
already
too.
set up and they're left already. You know what I mean? Why is it off center? Number one, it's your job. So I thought he was amazing.
So Ben,
I would-
if you can start your own sidekick, like celebrations with Ben Law or Carrie.
So,
Just being officiant at the wedding, you could be very
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
that might be my retirement plan. It might be my retirement
That
plan.
actually should be good. You can officiate all Karis's weddings.
Yeah.
Why
Speaking of,
am I the first one to be irrelevant?
we had
We
a
choose you.
couple years ago, we had this really nice officiant. But what kind of made it a little crazy was he was doing stand-up comedy while the guests were coming in.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
he was waiting for the guests to the shuttles to come. He's there doing stand-up hour, and
Yeah.
I was just like, this is crazy.
I love
am
that,
I really?
man.
Yeah, am I really like listening to this guy do comedy right now?
He
at
was
a wedding?
definitely practicing his
His routine.
his nighttime club routine
Yeah. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
during the wedding.
Yeah.
That's what I do every Monday at 7:00. It's my routine. All right, Mr. Ken. We really, really appreciate you hanging out with us today. I think we've taken enough of your time, but yeah, we are so looking forward to having you joining us on the stage on January 11th at the Focus AF Summit. If you guys would like to find Mr. Pack online,
You can find them anywhere.
just Google him. All right, you guys can find him. All right, it's KENPAK. All right, just Google him and you can find him. All right.
Did you know that about that domain from the packaging company who went out of business in California?
Ken Pack?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, I bought it from the auction.
Oh my gosh. So is it kenpack.com or is it kenpackphotography.com?
Kenpack.com, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
It's like a Sony.com or Canon.
Yes,
Nikon.com.
exactly.
Is that Sony?
Well,
Duh.
it used to be kenpackphotography.com.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a kenpack.com. It's been
All right, I got you.
kenpack.com for the past 8 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're behind.
Hey, I used to be Ben Lau Photography too. I bought benlau.com. Also, it was my
Ben,
Father's
same
Day
thing.
gift.
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah, it's relatively new that I got benlau.com.
But thing is, keeping your website so simple is very important for your business.
Yep.
Mhm.
Especially your
How
domain.
much was your domain?
So it started with the 5,000 and went all the way down to 400. That's when I snatched it.
What?
Because no one is buying Kenpack. Who buys Kenpack.com other than me?
Amazing.
Ours, we someone that like they owned it, and I think they wanted 12,000, and now I think they got it down to like 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I offered them, I think, half, and they refused. So we're like, whatever. We don't need it right now.
It's down to
It's,
4,000
it's-
or 400.
It was they want 4,000 for it right
Oh.
now.
For JR Photo, right? For JR Photo?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
jrphoto.com.
Well, for the, I guess for the rest of your career, you're just Junior Fatoni.
Yeah. We do own
We embrace
Jen and
it.
Row, jenandrow.com. So
Yeah, Ken, their domain is JR Photo NY, but the thing is, they live and work in New Jersey primarily, right?
Yes.
So we don't
We're
know why
from
it's
New York.
NY.
From New York. It was
So-
that's where we
so when
based
people
out
meet
of.
them, so when people meet them for the first time, it's JR they think it's JR Fatoni, you know?
Yeah. So talk about not keeping it simple, but it works. We have no issues.
It's like, hey,
We have
nice to
money
meet you,
coming in.
Tony.
We have clients.
Yeah.
it's either that or I had a bride stepmom call me Junior one time.
You look like you could be a junior. Anyway, we've kept Mr. Pack long enough. We can't wait to see you at the summit. So if you guys want to check out our bloopers, behind the scenes, highlights, and all that good stuff, you can find us on Instagram at focused.af. If you guys would like to download this episode and others, you guys can also find us online at focus-af.com. What else do I have to say?
That's it. Oh, and
Chirp,
emails.
chirp.
Hot topic.
Chirp, chirp.
On that note, are you Focused AF?
No.
We are not. We got
We
you
are.
guys know where to find us.
We are.
All right. Adios, guys. Adios. Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams Ben and Karis.
And Jen and Row, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you Focused AF?
I am Focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.